is the XM18 3-inch flipperless version in 20CV. This knife is as rare. To quote Mr. Nick Shabazz, when I asked him if he remembered price point, he said no, and those things are rarer than unicorn farts. So he's not wrong. I had a hard time finding out information about it, but you guys know what time it is. It's not time to keep going about a knife. It's time to listen to a little bit of music. Before we get into this knife, I want to talk about this channel. I watch this channel religiously. I really wait for him to put out new videos. This is Nile Red. It's a chemistry channel. I watched him do crazy stuff. He made something from his own urine. At one point, he's taken the indigo dye out of pants and dyed other things with it. He's currently extracting capsaicin from ghost chilies. So, fun channel. I can't afford to send him any money or buy any of his merch, but I definitely can send you guys his direction to give him some views and some likes. I like to say, support the channels you love. So, this is the Hinderer XM18 3-inch flipperless. It is an incredible little knife. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, and the reason we're doing such a fast turnaround from the first impressions that you guys saw, which actually was a refilm of something I'd done because the data got corrupted. The reason we're going so fast is I've got to get this out of my pocket. I like this knife so much. It's pretty much the only thing I've carried. I haven't even been really carrying my Grazioso or my Norseman because I like this knife so much. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get past the blade thickness, and I was absolutely wrong. I definitely got past the behind the edge thickness. So let's not, I mean, I really like this knife. Let's not take any more time up here. Let's go ahead, turn this around, and actually look at it from above so you guys get a good clean view of it. All right, guys, this is a knife that came in that I was so pleasantly surprised with how much I liked it. Like, I literally am doing this, like I said in the intro, because I have to get it out of my pocket. I'm having a hard time carrying other things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the full review done so that I can put it on the shelf with my Norseman and put that in my pocket at the end of the day when I start carrying the stuff I want to carry, at least until I have to send this back to Jared. So what we're looking at, we are looking at a 3-inch 20 CV spear point blade. I did not see it marked on what the Rockwell was, but I did have to sharpen this, and I'm gonna have to sharpen it again. And I'd say that it's up there with probably with however We Knife Company was running theirs and my Sea Snake. It's real comparable to any of my 20 CV Ferrum Forge. So they're running it fairly good. It's a good hardness. It's held its edge, but I literally cut down probably a whole 50-gallon trash can full of cardboard. So like I said, it's a full flat grind. Blade thickness on this, they've got it listed as 0.14. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it. I already zeroed this and checked it on a 0.141. Ooh, Rick's stuff comes in real close on what's listed. And like I said, that's approximation. That was the blade stock thickness, but there could have been, you know, there's some differences after tumble and things like that. Behind the edge thickness on this one. Now, this is thick behind the edge. I am not going to lie to you. Behind the edge, you're looking at 0.3-ish or 0.03-ish, right behind the edge bevel. Now, Jared did lay the edge back on this a little bit, so behind the edge on this one technically is about 0.025-ish. So handle length on this is 4.15 inches. It's just 4.125, I'm sorry. For overall length of 7 inches. It is a titanium frame lock. This has an aftermarket scale that's done in micarta. This is a very well done aftermarket scale. Only issue I saw with it was that little spot where it didn't, like the liner did not marry up with the actual scale. So I would imagine that that's just because of the aftermarket. So weight on this, I did not see a weight. Now this is running on bearings, and the bearings in this is incredibly smooth. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this.
Like I said, we'll do it in grams first because, you know, there's people that don't use freedom units and it's just easier. 93 grams, not real heavy. Let's go ahead and look at in ounces. Now, like I said, this is not a stock scale, so 3¼ ounces. And even though Nick has certified this as a gem, I'm going to say that your results may vary. Speaking of which, I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe I'll see if Nick wants to. Nick is riding to Blade Show West with me on Thursday. So there's all the specs of one. And let me talk about this. Now, I've historically had problems with hinderers. I've had problems with hinderers, and it's all because of the flipper tab. I understand Rick's thought process behind why he does his flipper tabs the way he does. He was a fireman, and he still thinks that way, that the flipper tab is just to help you along. It's not the actual deployment. But I've always felt like the flipper tabs on them were backwards. However, I mean, because when you do it, then they dig into your hand. They really dig into my hand. I find them uncomfortable. I really, really don't like them. But with this knife being a thumb stud deployment only, it took that flipper tab completely out. Has a small choil up forward of here. It's not a full finger choil, but if I'm careful, I can use it as such. I can get that first index finger like that in it, and that has a lot to do with the downward swept angle of this nice curvature, that radius with that blade pointing down. I then can hold this knife like this and almost pull back on it like a trigger. And my finger sits in there like that, as opposed to like this, which I definitely would cut myself. The ergonomics on this knife are incredibly good. It puts me at just the right angle to the work. I found myself using the big belly of this a lot. I can get up on it like a pinch grip like this and cut cardboard. Nice big belly up front, but not too swept. It's a nice spear point blade. You got a nice flat area here for doing like tasks that you need that. The belly up here for doing some cuts around things and through cardboard. Everything about this knife screams Mike should buy one. Unfortunately, they are super, super rare. Just little things. There is a lanyard hole, but I don't find it as unattractive as I do when they're down here. It's in an area where it really is out of the limelight. I'd prefer if they would just find a way to put something in there so that you don't have to have the hole and you could loop it through like some other knives we've seen here recently. I really like that idea. All of the hardware is really well done and attractive. The jimping, I'm going to tell you right now, jimping on hinderer knives is near on perfect. It is just about the right amount for whatever situation you're in, but it's also not super aggressive. And there is, even down here, I historically do not like knives that have jimping down inside the relief for the cutout. But on this one, it does not bother me. It's not uncomfortable. A lot of times they wind up being too sharp down in here. And a lot of that is in case you're wearing big, bulky gloves. Like I said, Rick was a fireman. He thinks of those things like, where do I want the jimping? How do I want it? Well, I want some here and I want some back here so that my glove doesn't slip off. He's got some jimping back here. And in here, if you've got big, bulky gloves on, you're going to want a little bit of jimping. Jimping on the spine is just right in the right spot. I really am happy that I finally have a hinderer here that I can give a good, honest review of, because a lot of times that flipper tab issue just put me off of the knife to the point where I didn't carry it or use it to the point where I could give it a good, honest review. Reversible, let's do this in English. Haven't even been drinking, if you can believe that. Haven't been drinking. Reversible, not reversible, let me see. Tip up to tip down, changeable, because reversible will be left to right, which it's not. Pocket clip on this, you can put the pocket clip. If you are a weirdo and like tip down pocket carry, I mean, I don't know why at this point. The consensus worldwide is that tip up is the way to go. And I agree. But if you are a person that likes to have a tip down carry, you can definitely swap that out. And you even have a little cover over the hole. The pivot is his typical pivot that he always uses, the pivot hardware, which is this, you need a spanner and a flathead to get it. I think I still have the spanner here. I was going to take it apart and show you guys the internals in another video, probably next week. The only complaint I have about this knife, period. I was even able to get past the thickness behind the edge because, I'll show you why here in a minute. I don't like Phillips head screws. I don't like Phillips head screws on knife hardware. Phillips heads have a tendency to strip out a lot easier than Torx. I personally wish that if it's Torx construction here, and everywhere else that you had Torx here. I don't know why that would be. Phillips when everything else is Torx. That's my only real complaint about this knife. And then, like I said, just aesthetically, and I know that that's not part of the knife, but this knife in particular has an aftermarket scale that they just did not do a real good job marrying that all up. Other than that, I have nothing to complain about on this knife. Action is incredible. The thumb deployment is great. I know that Nick had said that it was a little heavy, because you put tension. He said he was putting tension on that. I do not find that to be the issue. Even when I am putting tension on that, I have really strong hands. That could just be a deciding factor. I don't know if it was maybe just that the one that Nick had, that he's got weaker hands. I don't know if that's the case, but I found nothing wrong with the deployment on this, and the action is just dog nuts. It is insane how smooth this little knife is. Now, I'm going to show you. So we're going to pull some stuff out for some comparison. I'm going to show you why I think I was able to get by the blade stock thickness or the behind the edge thickness on this knife. So just for comparison sizes, size comparison here, you're looking at the Sebenza 21 here. It's significantly larger than the Hinderer XM18 3-inch. So you can see there. I have another small-ish gentleman's folder. It's actually a little smaller than this, which is the Artisan CJRB RIA. It comes in a little bit smaller, but not that much. Similar kind of in blade shape, but I'll tell you here. Now, here is this comparison. This is why I think I love this knife so much. This is one of my favorite knives of all time. This is the Ferrum Forge NTAC. Similar in blade size. I mean, just similar overall. The Hinderer is a little longer in the handle. This is more of a 1-to-1. But if you look at the blades, you can see why it's really similar. And in blade stock thickness and behind the edge thickness, they are really similar. And I carry this knife a lot. So yeah, I'm really, really stoked that I finally got a great Hinderer in to look at that fit me. And just aesthetically, it is super attractive. I've always liked the XM18 series, or the XM series, period. And to finally have one that in hand is just so much better for me. I just love it. So, all right, guys. I've gone on long enough. That's 10 minutes of me just talking about this knife. You should tell that I really like this knife. So let's go ahead and flip this around and do some final thoughts.
So guys, yeah, Jared was right. This was the Hinderer I was looking for. I fell in love with this knife. I wish I could find one for myself, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, retail on this knife, retail, not even on the secondary market. And like I said, these are rare. $425. So would I be able to get one? Absolutely not. It's insane that they're at expense. I mean, I get it. They're well built. They're great. I love everything about this knife. But can I afford it? No. Is it worth it? Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a $400 knife. It's right up there with any of my Ferrum Forges that I paid that much for and things like that. So yeah, guys, that's about all I got on this one. If you can find one of these and if it's in your wheelhouse and you can afford it, I definitely recommend it. It's a good knife. So guys, if you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, but you got to tell me why. I can't change content if I don't know what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like I do with the channels I throw up behind me. Share the content with other people you think would like it so that we get those views and we grow the community. If you want to support the channel financially, I have the memberships down below. We have like 54 members right now. I have something big planned for the 100 member giveaway. When we hit that milestone, it's going to be outrageous. I've got like 4 items I'm giving away. One of them is going to be one of the exclusive Blade Show West sea snakes that I'm going to be picking up at the show this weekend. So yes, this is Blade Show week. If you can't support the channel that way, if you're going to do some shopping on Amazon, I would ask that you use my affiliate links. Even if you're not trying to purchase the items that are in the link, if you use it as a portal to YouTube or to Amazon, I get credit for it. I also have the merchandise store and Ember shirt code down below. I have a coupon code for that. They're basically the same store. If you go to my merch store, if you happen to pick out some other things, you can use my coupon code CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp, to save 10% at checkout. And that's about it, guys. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. It helps me moderate it so much easier. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.